Hey everyone! This one is a 21 Pilots jar, and here is how to make it. First, we need a jar. On a small piece of paper, I traced the bottom of the jar and cut that out. On this, I'ma make the logo. I cut out another circle, drew the symbol, and cut out the pieces. Then I glued everything to the base of the jar from the inside, making sure it's in the right way from outside the jar. Then I put a layer of glue on the symbol to seal it in place. I measured the length of the jar to determine the amount of paper I'll need. Then I cut it out and made sure it goes around the jar from the inside. I decided to do this pattern on the bottom. I'm doing all the designs on the inside so that the outside of the jar remains waterproof. I even cut out small triangles on the very bottom and then found an easier way to do it by cutting one side first and then the other side. I added 2 more black lines . And then cut out large irregular triangles on the very top. I'm making this jar for a friend. She chose her favorite lyrics and I decided to write it in typewriter font. And then arranged it in the middle of the paper. On a small piece of paper, I drew an outline of Josh and Tyler and arranged that onto the paper as well. Using another piece of small paper, I cut a mask, which I believe they sometimes wear in their concerts, and also goes with the idea of Blurryface. Then I cut out Josh and Tyler's outline and traced it onto the paper. Now we can paint this, but I decided to choose a quicker method and use permanent marker. I used a waterproof black ink pen to add definition to the outlines. I glued the lyrics in place. Then I printed out a few patterns from the album Blurryface. I chose a pattern for the mask, traced it out, cut it out, and glued it onto its place. I cut out Tyler's outline into pieces, sort of like a puzzle. Then placed the pieces on different patterns and did the same like I did with the mask. Trace, cut, and glue. Before gluing, I colored Tyler's beanie red and his neck black. For Josh's outline, I colored his hair and eyes red and gave him black studs. Then I gave him patterned clothes as well, and using a silver pen, I gave all the outlines a silver lining. In Josh's hand, I drew 2 drumsticks in the form of an X, denoting the tattoo X which both Tyler and Josh have. Then I sprayed some hairspray on it to seal the colors, which ended up creating these marks on the writing, and to be honest, it looks even better now. After everything was dry, I glued the paper in place from the inside. This step does take some time. And again, I applied a layer of glue over it and attached it to the jar. Then I cut some patterned triangles and glued some on the top part of the paper from the inside. I mixed some black acrylic paint with glue and then applied it to the base of the jar. I took some remaining triangle pieces and taped it on both sides, sort of like laminating it so that it remains waterproof. Then I cut them out and used super glue to glue them outside of the jar, around the top part of the jar, making sure that the triangles from the inside of the jar are visible. I then cut out 2 pieces of thin red ribbon of equal lengths to go around the rim of the jar, leaving a small gap in between. And this symbolizes the tattoos around Tyler's left arm. And finally, I created another outline around Josh and Tyler's outline using white thread and super glue. The trick to this is to glue the string bit by bit. And sometimes I use scissors to avoid getting the super glue on my hands. I did this to give the outline a 3D effect. And then I was ready to give this to my friend. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe give this a try. Have fun!